a new leadership development approach.
Many leadership development initiatives focus primarily on the individual role learning of managers. They aim to change the mental models and individual behavior of managers. Individual learning is based on personal motivation and the voluntariness to learn, see Figure 21.2. But without a corresponding transformation of the rules, most of the efforts of leadership development are diminished, because often new learned mental models and behavior do not fit into existing routines and leadership rules of the organization. Willke, 1999, p. 190. In contrast, organizational learning focuses primarily on changing the rules, structures and procedures of the organization, for example, through audit based on contracts with the top management of the organization, see Figure 21.2. But organizational learning often neglects the necessity of anchoring new standards and routines within leadership's everyday individual behavior, for example, through leadership training, and thereby reduces the impact of organizational change. Figure 21.2. Definition of Organizational and Individual Learning, Argyris and Sean, 1996. This is why individual leadership learning has to be combined with organizational learning in health organizations. It allows sustainable transformation of leadership behavior and culture as well as communication routines in organizations in order to be able to respond quickly to new demands and the pressure for change. The new approach of leadership development, which is described in this article, combines the strength of both disciplines, organizational and human resource development, by simultaneously combining individual and organizational learning processes in an integrated setup. Garbs, 2012. This multi-level learning approach can only be carried out by in-house programs. In order to address individual and organizational learning, integrated in-house programs have to offer three different kinds of communication setups. 1. Learning setup allows participants to learn as individuals in a context in which they feel psychologically free to experiment with new behavior and to reflect on and change mental models. This takes place physically isolated from their work situation in seminars. Learning goals are connected to the actual leadership requirements of the organization. Methods of experimental learning and group feedback are essential to reinforce individual learning. 2. Change setup. The participants of the learning setup are assigned to organizational development projects by the top management in order to solve current organizational problems. Additional experts can be integrated into our project groups contributing their specific know-how. The project groups are supported by external coaching to enhance individual and organizational learning via projects. Results of the change projects have to be implemented to have impact on the organization. 3. Steering setup. Key players are representatives of top management, as they are contractors for the overall leadership development program as well as for single odd projects. First-level leaders are also included in the steering setup. In steering group meetings, first and second-level leaders plan and effectuate the process of nomination of high potentials within the organization to be part of the learning group, carry out the process of selecting odd projects as well as assign and steer the project groups and the implementation of the results. The members of the steering group often also act as mentors for the participants to support the transference of their learning into the organization. Leadership learning takes place not only within trainings and change projects but also within the steering setup, especially in the steering group. This is because process review and governing in such complex programs can only be carried out on the basis of individual and group learning. All setups have to focus on three dimensions essential for change in organizations: strategy, leadership behavior and structures, processes. Koenigsegger and Exner, 1998. See Figure 21.3. Due to their high complexity, Integrated in-house programs have to be counseled by external consultants in order to periodically gain outside perspective on the overall process and thus be able to keep control even in inevitable phases of turbulence.